Would you like to draw faces that are natural, realistic looking? Hi, my name is Annie Chang. Join me as I help you understand the basic cranial structure and facial proportions. And by using simple tools, you can avoid the common pitfalls so many beginning students make. Let's begin. The bulk of the head, or the cranium, is shaped like a ball or sphere. But we all know that circles are difficult to draw on paper. So I recommend using a lid from a container or a jar and trace a circle around it to make it easier for you to draw the circle. As your skills improve, you can begin to draw your own circle. But for now, the jar lid will do. Now that we have the cranium of the head, we need to split it into equal halves, both vertically and horizontally. Notice that I'm using the pencil as a measuring device to help me divide the circle in halves. I'm using the tip of the pencil to the tip of my fingernail on my thumb to measure the width and the length or the height of the circle. This will help tremendously later for me to draw the rest of the facial proportions. I often double check the dimensions after I draw them to make sure that this part is done correctly. I'm drawing two lines to make the ball shape flatter on the sides of the ears when the face is facing front. This face is only facing the front, basically you, and the head is not tilted up or down. So from the top, I draw a thin line to indicate the bottom of the hairline, and the line across the circle represents the line where the eyebrows are. Now, the bottom line that I just drew represents the bottom of the nose. When you look at the human face from the front, when it's not tilted up or down nor turned to the left or right, there are three sections that are about the same in length. Basically, from the hairline to the eyebrows, from the eyebrows to the nose, and from the nose to the bottom of the chin. Earlier, I drew two lines from on the sides of the circle because when the head is facing the front, the circle or the cranium is exactly a little flat on both sides where the ears are. So that's the lines really indicate how wide the cranium is when the face is facing the front and not turned to the left or the right. So here you have the basic structure of the head and the face. The line under the brow line indicates the location or the position of the eyes. For the standard position of the mouth, we divide the space between bottom of the nose to the bottom of the chin into three equal sections, and this line indicates where the line between the upper and lower lips are. Each of the eyes is roughly 1/5 the width of the face. I'm using my pencil to measure the distance of first the distance between the eyes, which is also about 1/5 the width of the face. You want to draw in very rough outlines of the eyes without going into the details, which we will take care of once the facial proportions are done. We can find the width of the nose by drawing a straight line from the inner corner of each eye towards the line where we indicated where the nose is. And I'm also indicating roughly how wide the nose is. I'm also drawing two eyes so that I can find the width of the mouth, which is a little bit less than halfway to the eye on each side. If, however, you're drawing a person who is smiling or laughing, The lines that indicate the end of or the width of the mouth may extend to the middle of the eye on each side. I just filled in the relative positions of the nostrils. Again, without going too much into the detail because we're not quite done with the proportions of the face or the head. I'm just indicating where the eyebrows are relative to the eyes. This is a rough outline, but it's a great way for me to find out where the facial features are, and later on I can change any of these facial features or add more details to them. From the top of the hairline, I drew 2 lines on each side connecting the top of the hairline to the ear section or the sides of the head, where the sphere gets or the circle gets a little more flat. And now I have the position of the 2 ears. They're roughly the distance or the length between the eyebrow and the bottom of the nose. And using the lines I drew earlier with this upside down trapezoid, I'm able to draw the jawline of the face. Usually they're a little bit rounder or square depending on what kind of face shape you want to draw. For the standard face shape, this seems to be good for now. If you like this video so far or have learned something or simply enjoy watching it, please click on the like or thumbs up button. Thank you so much for your support. What you've learned so far is the Loomis method of drawing the head. I simply added some visual aids and simple drawing tools to help you draw the circle for the head. If you've never done the Loomis method before, I highly recommend that you give it a try. Before I learned this method, I also had my so-called own style of drawing the face, but a lot of times I ended up wasting a lot of time because I would start with an eye, get it done or drawn very well, and then I would find that there's not enough space on my paper, or I didn't really quite draw the other features as well as the eye, and I ended up wasting a lot of my own efforts. Here are some tips on how to use this Loomis method to your best advantage. First, draw smaller. You can either draw many faces or get many practices on the same sheet of paper, or just draw one face and get only one practice on the sheet of paper. Also, this way you won't be so focused on the details because you only have so much space for each of the facial features on the face. So you will be more focused on the over proportion of the faces. It's also harder to get the facial proportions correct when you are drawing big. It's actually easier to spot the proportional differences or mistakes if you're drawing a smaller face or head. Tip number 2, avoid drawing the details of each facial feature or start drawing the hair until you have gotten the facial proportions correct. I understand the temptation because I still struggle with doing this as well. But building a good foundation for your facial features, it is so important. It is just like building a house. It doesn't matter how pretty your curtains or furniture or even the backyard is. If the foundation for your house is not right, it will not be able to stand, even after you put in all the other things. Drawing the head and the face is exactly the same thing. Tip number 3, practice drawing using the Loomis method and then repeat. In the beginning, it would seem very tedious, very troublesome, and I thought exactly the same thing. I wonder, why do I have to go through all the work just to draw a face? But over time, I realized that as I got familiar with the head proportions and the face, it became almost second nature. So put in plenty of practice and remember that no one can do something new perfectly the first time they learned it. Tip number 4. You may have noticed that the face has a lot of curves and even the features too. So practice or draw still life such as vases, bowls, plates, pots, pans, and even bottles. This will help you in learning how to draw or improving your skill to draw curved lines. And not only that, try to draw them in different angles. The head is a three-dimensional object, and as you continue to learn about how to draw the head at different angles, being able to draw and see the face in 3 dimensions is very important.